Okay.
Hi,
Mhm.
this is Barbara Sanders, and this is Katie Todd, my guest for today. This is Sacred Metamorphoses, my YouTube channel, and it is June 13th, Friday the 13th, 2025. And if you want to know more about me, you can go to my website, which is cosmic-mystic.com, cosmic-mystic.com. And I'm going to announce a few things first, and then Katie and I are going to jump right in. Um, First, I'm going to describe Katie, and I think that Katie is all about sacred activism, which is a term I like to use because I feel like sacred activism is about all of us helping ourselves heal within our mind, body, spirit, and radiating that out to the world and hopefully helping others too when we're ready to do that. And so I think your work, Katie, is wonderful in that way. Um, Let's see. Also, though, I just want to make a brief announcement. Next week, I'm going to be talking with a friend and colleague named Randy Mack, and he lives up in your part of the world right now, Katie, but he was in Nashville and he still is as a rolfer. But he has written a book, and he's older than I am, his first book, I think, and it's called The New Era of Radiant Aging: Love, Sex, Psychedelics, and Wonderment. So I just love that.
Sign me up for that,
Yeah,
Randy.
isn't that nice? Randy's wonderful. So he'll be on next week. And let me just introduce you a little bit. And for you, I don't know that there are any real good words to use because I think of you with the word yum. And I will say that I met Katie earlier this year in an astrology and writing women's workshop retreat at St. George Island at Mother Ocean Retreats with Tammy Roth and Emily Trinkus. And then I used you for healing energy work individually. And then I joined a class, which was Cosmic Container for Earthly Expansion with Emily Trinkus. And we were 8 weeks with a small group of women doing astrology and energy healing. And it was beautiful and wonderful. And in fact, Emily and Katie are going to do another group this summer, which I'll give you her website. Katie's website is katietodd.net, and it's KATIETODD.net. And she has her events and her things that she does on there. And you'll see I don't know if that's open to everyone, but there's a soul, what do you call it? A soul summer something?
Summer Soul Liberation.
Summer soul
From
liberation.
yeah, from default mode to divine design.
There you go. And since there are no words to describe you, I'm taking some words from your website. So listen to this. Um, Katie does something called a flow of grace, and she describes it as a high voltage current of energy containing the soul's wisdom channeled into the body, loving, nourishing, and energizing. It flows through the body, emotions, and the psyche, clearing blockages and unwinding and shedding outdated patterns and conditioning, offering clarity, connection, and alignment. And Katie is an empath and an intuitive channeler of the divine. And for some of you, that may sound woo. And for some of you, like, yes. So we're going to try to give you an experience of that today. I will also say Katie's an artist, and I believe she has a piece of her art behind her. That's an interesting story you may want to talk about. And also, she does one-to-one individual sessions and group transmissions, and she lives in upper state New York. Is it upper state?
Hmm. Upstate New York, yeah, the Hudson Valley. Hmm.
Though she lived in Portland, Oregon before that. And I'm so pleased to know you because you've helped my life immensely already.
Mm.
And this will be wonderful. And because Katie suggested this, what we're going to do before she talks with you is we're going to do an experience of energy healing.
Hmm.
So you can just
Yeah.
you can talk to the audience as going through this themselves, but she may use me as a body.
Yeah, I thought it would be so fun for people just to get to know what it would be, what's it like to receive energy work, or what's it like when Katie works with someone. So we can kind of use you as an example of someone that I would be doing an energy session with. And we can just do a little mini energy session.
Yes,
And
and
I
she
also,
wants to do this on Zoom too, as well as in person. So I just wanted to add that.
yeah, yeah. And when I do, I have these small group transmissions, which is no more than 8 people. in a Zoom room, and everybody shares a specific intention. And then what's great is everybody gets a mini session, but everyone's session also somehow influences everybody else. So everybody gets like 8 mini sessions. So we can kind of imagine that this would be like one of those little sessions. And what's special about that is that even though it's you, Barbara, getting the session, we'll just invite all the listeners to just pretend that they are you, because you're a specific individual human with your own patterns and cosmology, but ultimately the fabric that is in you is the fabric that's in all of us. So
Yeah.
everybody is going to feel something and receive something by whatever wants to move through you today.
I love this. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Katie. So
Yeah.
we're going to close our eyes maybe and listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. We can just close our eyes. And if for whatever reason you don't want to close your eyes or you're driving, it's fine to keep your eyes open. You'll still have your own experience with eyes open or closed. Closing the eyes just helps bring our attention deeper inward. And I'll invite us all to just let our attention find the feeling of your butt in the chair or your feet on the ground, or maybe even the back of your body leaning back into whatever you're leaning back against. And then follow that up with the breath. Let your breath come in into your noticing awareness. So noticing the feel of your inhales, the way that breath just fills up the lungs and expands the belly, the feel of the exhale, everything kind of softens. And just do a few of those, just a few breaths to help you pull your awareness and your attention into what it feels like to just be in your body right now. And I just want to say, some people have a hard time being in their body. So if that's a hard thing for you, just notice what it's like to feel like you're around your body or you're beside your body or subtly, whatever you're noticing is just perfect. Mm. Yeah, good. And as we're just letting our attention feel our bodies, we're going to bring another layer of ourselves into our attention field. And that's the layer of our awareness, this field of awareness that is like the noticing presence, the part of you that's noticing that you're breathing. So it's like, oh, here's my body. I'm feeling it. And then, oh, cool. Like, and here's the part that's like noticing it. And it's like, not really my body, but can notice my body. So just notice that. And then see if your noticing presence can focus on the space around your body. Think of like your nervous system extending outside of your body, the way that you can feel the room, the way you can feel other people. We're just going to bring breath into the space around you. And this space is also alive. It's sentient. It's highly awake. It's highly conscious. And you can feel it. We're saying hello to your kind of outer nervous system that's feeling the room, that's feeling, sometimes we call this the field. When the field is outside of us and also inside of us. And see if you notice your body being a little bit more spacious. Maybe your awareness can feel you as just a buzzing field of aliveness, as if your dense 3D body, it's still there. You haven't gone anywhere. You're still totally present, but you're also aware that there is an energy, a field, an opening, maybe more spaciousness as you've let your awareness feel the space around you and within you. And we'll just add one more layer. We're going to bring in your big soul self. And our souls are always with us all the time, but we're not always aware of them. So, however you want to imagine your soul, just say, hello, soul. And just invite the feel of what it's like to feel connected to your soul, however you might imagine that. And as you do that, it literally calls that aliveness, that wisdom, the part of you that is so ancient, wise, eternal. That's how I think of our souls. It calls it hear more. calls your attention to it more. And our attention is powerful, right? So what we pay our attention to grows. So as we invite more soul to be right here, around your body, maybe inside your body, you can even give that some breath. What's it like to just breathe in your soul? Mm-hmm. So I just kind of like to welcome all these aspects of a person into the room here. And I just want to check in with Barbara and see how this is feeling for you.
Well, I immediately felt hot, and then I felt my throat needing to clear itself, and so I got a sip of something to drink.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to settle down online, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
but it's good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And Barbara, is it okay if we kind of focus some energy work? So I want to just set the intention that Barbara's body right now can maybe your body can be like a hologram for the all of your viewers and your watchers. So that anything in the field of the people that love you and appreciate you and are listening to this now can be available because Barbara is an open and willing person and has really clear and strong boundaries. So it's like this isn't going to affect her in any way, but this is part of what it means to be a spiritual activist is that we are available and willing and open to do this work on behalf of the whole. And there's no sacrificing anything personal. Barbara's done so much personal work that there's not that much in her system left to really metabolize, in terms of like personal things that are blocking her in a daily way. Like her life is in a place where she's in the flow, she's open. And so when you've done that much work on yourself, you literally get to be this conduit for archetypal work that's done at larger levels of the planet and of the cosmos. So I just want to acknowledge first Barbara for all the work that she has done in her life that can allow her to do this level of archetypal healing. So that said, there's some sensations that I'm starting to notice in my body. And I'm curious, Barbara, if there's anything that you're suddenly aware of happening in your system.
I feel my hands vibrating a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. And just keep yourself unmuted because we'll just kind of be in dialogue here. Great. Yeah. So notice those hands. And anybody watching right now, you might also just kind of really notice the things happening in your body. You might feel heat, you might feel energy. You might also just feel really empty, or you might just be like kind of all your energy in your eyeballs and in your head, watching and taking in and not feeling your body. And that's okay too. Okay, Barbara. So yes, the hands are definitely vibrating and opening, and I'm feeling a little sensation in the like upper heart, kind of where the collarbones come together, and just the tiniest restriction in the throat. And so we're just going to invite a flow of grace to just envelop your throat and your heart. And this is just a very soft energy that comes in at an energetic layer, but it starts to just soften the places where the nerves and the muscles are holding us a contraction. And on the receiving end, I just invite you, Barbara, to take some nice deep breaths and imagine you're just drinking that energy in as if your body is a sponge and it's rehydrating and getting kind of filled out. And as your throat is taking that in, the tissues can start to soften. So the energy of grace is kind of like this subtle message to the places where our nervous systems are holding resistance. And often these are unconscious patterns of where we're afraid. And the afraid, it's unconscious, it's like a creature level, just like our bodies pick up the field, right? And there's a lot happening in the field, especially in the United States right now, especially if you're listening to the media. So sometimes we feel that, and our bodies just are, without even thinking about it, we'll get a little grippy, a little tense. And so that's what I'm sensing is just this kind of low level kind of anxiety that feels like part of what's happening. And I invite us all to just welcome in a bigger energy, a bigger love, a bigger sense of something that's holding you. And that could just be like, I mean, I just call it grace. And to me, grace is the felt love of life, the way that life is a flow of love and has no agenda, doesn't doesn't care what love, how we love or what we call love. It just loves us. Ooh, and another word that is coming up here is the energy of mercy. Mercy towards like what we as human creatures who are fallible, we're at kind of just like at the mercy of life here on earth that is filled with sometimes really challenging things, sometimes wonderful things. Mercy to us humans. We're actually here. We're actually on earth feeling it all, being in it. And that is no small feat. It's very easy to do a spiritual bypassy thing where we go up and out and we're like, oh, I'm just spirit and I'm transcending the 3D world. And it's like, well, why then did you even come to earth? You came here to play. Get down in your body and feel what it is to feel. And this is what I really think of when I think of spiritual activism is how do we bring the light, the love, all of the cosmic wonder that we are to planet Earth, to our everyday lives, our everyday relationships and experiences. And the first like step in that, at least for me, is how do I stay present with that in my body and keep the love flowing? And to notice the places where the body is contracting. So that's what this is like a long explanation to what's happening here in the neck and the shoulders and then the kind of high heart area. How can we let the infinite love of life that's like so happy that you are here, Barbara, that all of you listening are here, being you, sharing the really unique um, expression of life and love that you are. And we're just going to invite anything that's ready to unwind, any patterns that are constricting your expression of who you are, of the love that you're here to bring, of your own personal, just of your brand of yum that wants to flow more so you can feel it. And so everyone in your life and in the world can feel it. We're just going to invite a really gentle, sweet release to kind of move through the body. And I can just feel actually the muscles around the scalp relaxing, the face relaxing, like right around the occipital ridge, back of the skull opening as if the head is just lifting off that top vertebra a little bit. Imagine you're like those bobblehead things in the car, just like all this space coming in between the neck and the head. Let's all take a big breath. Yeah, Barbara, right there and between the neck and the head, and let more energy and more flow and more spaciousness come in there. That's one of the first places our primitive creature bodies contract is our heads kind of crunch down on our neck when we're scared, like a turtle. And we're just going to lift the back of the head up a little bit and let more energy come in there. Let more flow, let more chi, let more life force, more blood, more cranial sacral fluid move through there. Oh, that's good. And then, yeah, beautiful. Barbara, go ahead and just bring your attention and breath slowly from the back of your neck there, all the way down the spine to your sacrum and your tailbone. And we can all do that along with Barbara. Yeah, beautiful. And you might notice just this really sweet flow of softness, of warmth, this current of energy following your attention, your breath as it slides down between the shoulder blades, middle of the back, around the kidneys to the sacrum and tailbone. Beautiful. And just to bring in a little more energy work, we can all imagine the crown. So Barbara, let your crown be nice and open. Yeah, there you go. And then just let this beautiful flow of grace come right in through the top of the head. And we're just going to let it really illuminate your brain. And you can all imagine your brain is just being coated in this really delicious kind of golden honey, just coating the forebrain, the frontal lobe, the side lobes, the middle of the brain, the back brain, the brain stem, just telling the whole brain, you're good. just you can soften. It's safe to just relax and focus on what is right here, right now in front of you. What's actually true, what's alive. And we'll just invite the brain also, this energy coming in for Barbara's brain to carry some really unique energies and messages from her soul. So we're just going to invite that soul wisdom to also fortify her human brain and just support any new neural pathways. And I kind of think of the brain as like a big, this is very simplistic, but like a telephone switchboard, the old fashioned ways. And to go ahead and just do a soul level, soul wisdom reorganization of neural networks that support your human creature in becoming more aligned, more freed up. So we're just inviting any outdated ways of knowing, sensing, and feeling yourself that are related to early conditioning, early patterning, survival strategies that are no longer serving you and need to be upgraded. And again, there's an innate wisdom, instinctual knowing in your own brain, in your own system, and at a soul level that's doing this for you, Barbara. So you can just relax and allow that to happen. And everybody else listening, just let your brain get kind of spacey and relaxed, nothing you have to think about and focus. And just to bring a little astrology, and this is a very Neptunian strategy, the planet Neptune, whenever we're having a Neptune transit or we have a strong Neptune aspected in our chart, Neptune works through spacing out. It's like brings in this spiritual energy, right? These like higher levels of compassion, understanding, oneness, wisdom. And we can just soak that in and trust that wisdom of Neptune, which, yeah, it wants us to space out. It works, it works through not linear thinking or trying. It works through our dreams. It works when we're just like staring out the window and then suddenly the thing gets worked out on this really deep level of our being. So, whew, nice deep sighs and deep breaths. Yeah. Okay. So we're kind of in a little spacey out mode, and that's great. I just want to kind of bring the focus into the heart for a second. Let's bring a breath into the heart field. Just inviting the heart to feel that expansive, open flow, and inviting any repatterning, reconditioning in the heart center. Yeah, and Barbara, keep like imagining the back of the head, lifting the back of the neck, opening that's the place that spirit really wants to help your nervous system unravel. Yeah, and then let's all just bring a breath down to the low belly, saying hello to the low belly. And kind of grounding some of that energy that's been in the brain all the way down into the pelvis and saying hello to the lower half of the body. Yeah. I just want to check in and see how this is all feeling with you, Barbara. How are things landing? What are you noticing?
Well, I've had to do a little bit of shaking because when energy moves in me, I sometimes shake and move around. And I'm particularly feeling my right side. I did this meditation the other day that it was like it came through here, and now I'm feeling it in my shoulder and neck and coming down the right side of my body, which hasn't happened much. I've worked a lot with my left side of my body, so it's really interesting that a lot of my conditioning and patterns, I think, really come through this right side, the mass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it really has helped me for you to talk about widening the space between my neck and head, because that does get crunched down.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to continuously remember that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just going to feel into your right side with you a little bit. Right side, yeah. There's a lot of things we can assign to the right side of the body. Um, but I feel like for you right now, Barbara, this is about an expansion of, how do I say this? It's not assertion, but it's almost feels like this really grounded, anchored confidence in you sharing you. And I want you to breathe into the right half of your pelvis, like your right hip, and your right leg, your right low back. Yeah. And I'm just feeling your father and inviting him to just stand in behind you. And if you can imagine your dad with his hand on your back,
Mm.
saying, I see you, daughter. You are doing good work. I approve. I approve. Keep going. I got your back. And just let your body absorb that paternal permission, the kind of authority that our fathers give us, the way that they can open the ways in the 3D world of our lives, the way we make things happen, the way we go about initiating, the way we make our way in the world. It's the job of the father to do that for the daughter in an archetypal sense. Oh, and most of us, including myself, we didn't really get that from our dad or our dads. Ooh, so it just feels like this big permission. Yeah. Especially for maybe what your dad really could never grok or understand or get, in his human form. Like the way that you were connected to so much, the way you sensed so much, the way you could feel so much. Maybe he didn't didn't get that. Couldn't say that at all. Yeah. Yeah. And now on the other side, I can just feel him just, yeah, apologizing that he couldn't really, really see you. And he can sense the loss that was for him. But now, where he is, he can see you and he is so delighted in who you are and what you're doing. And he wholeheartedly backs you up. And I just invite your whole right side to open to the flow of support that wants to come in. This feels like a new level of support for what you're doing and who you are. And let your whole system just drink that in, all the way down to your toes. Yeah, wiggle your toes. This is like new information for your nervous system, for the way that you hold yourself erect, the way you go about communicating, the way you are, I say it, yeah, it just feels like a really grounded, relaxed confidence. Wants to be like you already have that, but I feel like it wants to be even more amplified and more grounded and alive. Whew. How's that feeling?
Really good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more spacious and expansive and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
thank
I
you.
feel like we could keep going, but I want to just honor the like listening time span of this interview and what listeners want to be available for. So I want to just thank your dad for showing up, thank the field, thank your field, thank yeah, the field of everyone who kind of participated energetically.
Yeah. And thank you, Katie, for
Mhm.
leading us and intuiting what was there, is there,
Mhm.
has been there. Thank you.
Mhm. Welcome.
So now you don't need to describe anything about yourself because this is far. And you have so shared yourself with me and so many others. Um, I would like to tell you one little story about what just happened. Is that
I'd
okay?
love to hear that. Yeah.
Because I'm not sure this is supposed to, right? Everything that happens and nothing's wrong or right, but it was
Mm-mm.
interesting. Certainly, I have reason, and you've worked with me to have some uh, tensions in my throat. And when you brought my father in, though, I pictured his hand actually on my shoulder, on the back of my
Mm-hmm.
shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And he, in his later years, um, had surgery because his parts of his spine weren't working well and they were closing off a nerve to his arm and fingers and hand.
Mm.
So he had that fused or opened up or whatever they do with that. But they didn't do a great job because then he didn't really have much control of his last two fingers because, they must have touched
Mm-hmm.
or something. And anyway, so you're doing that with me, people know who've listened to me before, I have arthritis in my hands and feet, and uh, connecting with him even in that way of, and maybe it's an aging thing too, but certainly our own losses and neglects and traumas help our spine settle down. And sometimes we need outside surgery for that kind of thing. And sometimes we do need this kind of energy healing, perhaps so we don't have to get to that point. I don't know. But anyway, so I really connected with him through whatever happened to him and his right side.
Wow.
And I'm hopefully learning from it. Thank you.
Very cool. I
That
love that.
was really
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean, the nervous system, especially the spine, there's so much information, all of our life experiences that can't we can't digest everything that we take in all day. It's too much information. So a lot of it would just kind of get put behind us and it literally goes into our spinal cord. And what happens when we're just overloaded, 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 and we don't take the time to feel ourselves, to breathe, to cry when we need to cry or talk about things that have happened if we just keep shoving it all back and shoving it all in, our spines will actually start to get misshapen or hunched or crunched because it's too much. Or when we have really overwhelming traumas, we'll kind of literally cut ourselves off. And this is just a really smart thing that the body does to not feel, because your nerves branch out, and each cell in the body has 6 to 9 nerve endings, right? So if like a part of you, let's say, got like bit by a dog or something, and it was really painful, those nerves that where they connect to your spine might be a little bit like, because that was so traumatic. You can't imagine feeling it again. Um, and so over time, if you do any kind of body work, emotional works, you notice how sometimes your body has to have like this physical grief. In your head, you've already been like, I processed that. This is what's awesome about energy work, or people who've done a lot of therapy. They've like reviewed it in their head, but it's still living in their body. And it literally lives in the spine and the way that the nerves connect. And what's cool is once you've kind of allowed your body to process trauma, your spine can straighten out, can align, your posture can get taller. Um, Scoliosis can straighten out. Scoliosis is like, happens when girls turn 13 years old, because it's like all of a sudden our sexual energy starts running and we're like, what's that? And we crunch it down because of our culture and the way sexuality is in our culture. It's not safe, right? So I'm just, yeah, sharing about how amazingly brilliant our bodies are, and it's not our fault that our bodies get kind of weird and crunchy. They're just being really protective, wise little creatures. But we can put our attention on them and bring compassion and love and just a gentle steady touch of our energy, and things can really open up and healing can happen quite easily, quite quickly.
Thank you. Can you say one little story about yourself and why you do the work you do, and what's that like for you as a practitioner?
One little story. Well, I think one fun fact to know about me is that my father is a mortician, and my father's family, my great 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 grandfather, started a mortuary in Toledo, Ohio, in the Midwest in 1888. And my sister now runs the funeral home. So we grew up in a, well, we didn't live in the funeral home, we lived behind the funeral home. But my mom was into pretty spiritual things. So she had an energy teacher come to our house and teach weekend workshops when I was 11 years old. I was in middle school. And then we would host kind of like yeah, we'd have the weekend workshops and we'd have practice circles where we'd set up tables and people would come and get on the tables just in our living room. And they made this little joke to like, come over to my maiden name is Coil, come over to the coils. If we can't heal them, we can seal them, get on the table. We'll take them to the funeral home.
Funny.
So that's just a funny little story. And
Interested in this and were taught things at an early age. And I know some of your story, which is at some point you thought about medical school and then you have taken different turns, but helping yourself heal through all sorts of things, as well as giving that resource to others and sharing that with everyone. Um,
yeah, it's fun. I mean, and I think because it was so playful, like we would we would play with the energy work, the first teacher I had she loved experimenting on me because I was so open, and she's like, Katie, put out a glass of water in the kitchen and I'm going to put some frequencies in there, and then I want you to drink it and tell me what you feel. Right, so it's things like that. So to me, it's I like having this work be playful, even though it can be really serious. I mean, I work with people who've had serious trauma, right? And there's a level of deep respect and honor and, pacing. We have to go slow with bodies that don't feel safe being playful about it. Um, but for bodies who are like, woo, like you, Barbara, take me on a cosmic journey of energy. It can be pretty fun.
yeah, it's the whole gamut, right? The whole range of experience. And I'm just so glad I met you because you're now one of my newest mentor teachers. And
Mm.
there's something about your presence and your energy. It's the word yum. And Katie uses that every now and then. It's just yum. And again, it's not that things aren't difficult sometimes, but they can become so just flowing energetically instead of stuck and rigid. And
Right. And I feel like when we really tap into the simplicity of feeling ourselves as humans here on earth, what else is there to feel besides, it just feels yummy and good to be here. Because I just know for myself, like in my journey of spiritual development, so much of it was like in my head, and I was meditating really hard, and I was like feeling all the things and doing all the breathing, and it was like, it just wasn't that fun. I mean, it was good. It all happened and stuff, but it wasn't until I don't know when the yum started coming in, but I just remember my whole system was like, oh, yes, please. This is easy. And then so much more. I felt like the healing happened so much faster because my system was like, number one, yum is like easy. Number two, it's safe. Number three, you don't really have to think about it. Number four, it's just like, okay, what's happening? Yum, yeah. And I remember this book that my daughter had. It was one of her favorite books. It was called Yummy and Yucky. It's just like introducing kids to like, this is yucky, this is yummy. And then they get to play with that word. And I think there's something important about coming back to that really basic level of perception. Like, what do I want? What feels good? because we have so many layers of conditioning, right? That's like, oh, I should do this, or this is the right thing to do, that like steer us away from what's really aligned, what's really true, what's really yum, right? And the yum is always like, for me, that's like the North Star of like, oh yeah, okay, good. Even visually, like my husband was like looking at uh, shopping for chairs on Facebook Marketplace a little bit ago. And I was going in my head, I'm like, those look like valuable antique. And then I was like, no, yuck. I don't like those. And I was like, ooh, yum, I like those. And it was such a much more like fast, instant way to be like, I could actually live with those in my kitchen. I would be really happy when I saw those every day versus like, oh, these are valuable antique chairs, which should be, you know.
And how to negotiate that with another person who's your partner who has their own feelings and thoughts about that.
He's used to me. He gets
All
it.
right.
He's pretty intuitive too.
Good, good.
But yeah. Anyway, so Yum is a great simple tool to navigate a lot of life with.
Mhm. We're going to have to end in just a minute. So, anything else you want to say about yourself, your practice, your hopes or dreams, anything else that you would like to share?
Oh, well, if anybody wants to join myself and Emily Trinkus at Summer Soul Liberation, it starts July 1st. It's going to be 4 amazing classes. There's going to be
I'll be there.
Barbara will be there. At the end of September, Tammy Roth and I will do a quantum astrology workshop up here in upstate New York. And then in the fall, I will probably be doing a mentorship program for other healers who want to work in the fields and work with not it'll be a little more interesting than just yummy and yucky. But
I don't
we'll
mean
play.
I don't mean to make things black and white either, but that is a goal to be young. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. And her website again is Katie Todd, TODD.net. And I'll put that in the description. And if people want to contact you, they can go to your website and find you, right? And I highly recommend Katie because I've experienced her skills and her talents and her gifts. And make an investment in yourself. That's how I think about some of these things. It's investing in your own health and energy and life, but it's also what you put out there in the world to others. And that is sacred activism. And that's how we can help heal all over the place. And there's so much more to say about that. I mean, I'm not saying everybody's broken or anything like that. So, but we all need upgrading, as you called it earlier. So there's some upgrades happening. They're already happening. We might as well notice them and receive them, right?
that's right. Yeah. And everybody contributes to the whole.
Yes. Thank you, Katie.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Barbara. Thank you so much for being willing to be the energy work for
Oh,
all of
I
us.
just got a free session without paying for it. So I'm going to send you a little something. Thank you.
You're so welcome. All
Talk
right, take care. Thank you. Bye.